Are there turnkey companies that assist with rehabbing, allowing you to get the forced appreciation? I've heard you say BRRRRKey. Yeah, is that a thing? Somebody, it is a thing. Somebody in one of the older posts, I always put BRRRR plus turnkey. I don't think there's really a good word for this phrase, but somebody called it a BRRRRKey. So I was like, well, I'm down with that. So the BRRRRKeys, yes, are a thing. So here's the short of this. The turnkey, the standard turnkey model is that the turnkey provider goes and finds the distressed inventory, they buy it, they fund the rehab, they do everything they need to, put tenants in, property managers, and then you're not closing on it until you verified everything that has been done. You're verifying the rehab, you're whatever. In that structure, the turnkey provider is the one holding all the risk because it's their money in the pot. You aren't at risk because you're not putting a penny into it except for your earnest money, but you're not putting a penny in until you've verified everything at closing. Like when it's time to close, you're like, okay, yes, we're good to close. So it's a matter of who's holding the risk at that point. That model is you put 20% down into this turnkey and that's the best you can do. There's not really a way to force appreciation at that point unless the market forces it for you like mine did in Atlanta. You can't really make improvements to the property. It is what it is. And let's say you want to buy 5 turnkeys, you need 5 sets of 20% down. And end of story. The BRRRRKey model is combining the BRRRR model, which I am just wishing somebody would change the acronym because I'm like, wait, how many R's are in it? I'm like, buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. Like I am begging somebody to redo this acronym. But in the meantime, it's the BRRRR model. So if you were going to go be a BRRRR investor, you'd basically do what the turnkey provider does. You go find a distressed property, you fund your rehab, you do the rehab, and then you are forcing the appreciation on that property. So then you refinance and you can pull more of that money back out. The advantage being that you can because the value of the property has increased, you can pull more out than you would if you had put 20% down. So let's say it ends up with you only having 5 or 10% down because of, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, if it's making sense. So 20% of a higher amount is, let's see, I don't know, you guys get what I'm saying. If you don't, ask me because I'm confusing myself. But you basically get to pull more money out and you have the extra equity. So that's the advantage of the BRRRRs by themselves. So the BRRRRKey model is combining the advantages of both the BRRRR model and the turnkey model. And what it's doing is instead of the turnkey provider funding the distressed property and the rehab, you're funding it. So you're identifying the property with them. So they're finding the properties for you. You get to pick which one you want. You pick that one. So that's one less thing you have to do. If you're a BRRRR investor by itself, you have to figure out which property you want to buy. So the turnkey provider will help you pick out a property. You say, okay, I want that one. You buy that property for cash. Let's say it's $60,000. So you spend $60,000 cash purchase. You buy this distressed property. Then the turnkey company is going to do rehab for you. Let's say the rehab is $40,000. So you essentially are putting $100,000. 60 and 40. So you're putting $100,000 down, which is what you would do with the BRRRR model, except the turnkey company is doing all of the work for you, just as they would like normal, except you're funding it. The major upside to this, let's say you put $100,000 in, now the property, because it's forced appreciation, is worth $120,000, $130,000. Well, all of that forced appreciation is yours. So you have now captured the forced appreciation that you would if you were doing normal BRRRRs. But you've got the advantage of the turnkey company because you're still getting all of their expertise and they're doing all the work. So it sounds perfect, right? The downside to this, which is huge and notable, is you're now the one at risk. If anything goes wrong during the rehab, any of that kind of stuff, it's your money in the pot. Whereas with the standard turnkey model, the turnkey provider's money was in the pot. So this is why it's very, very important. There are a lot of companies who will offer to do this model with you. You have got to know who that company is and you've got to trust them, because if you're a BRRRR investor, you're still kind of in charge of everything. Yes, all your money's on the line, but you're the one making the decisions. You're the one doing the work, which could be, like, for someone like me, it'd be even riskier because I'm not good at that kind of work. So But now you're trusting other people to perform. And if they don't perform, it's your money. So this is the major trade-off. So standard turnkeys, the major plus being you get to verify everything before you put a dime in it. The major downside being that you no longer have forced appreciation, so you don't have that extra equity. The BRRRRkeys, major advantage, you get the free forced appreciation, which is huge. I mean, not the number necessarily, but the advantage. It's the whole, it's what people, it's why they invest in real estate, to get that they're forcing appreciation. And if anyone doesn't understand forced appreciation, send me a message. We'll talk more about it. But the major downside is you're holding all the risk. So you have to know who the company is. So as you guys probably know from the post that I've put up, we are working with a provider now who is doing the BRRRRKey model. And if you've been with Hipster for a while, we were doing the BRRRRkeys with another provider. This is not the same provider. This is a totally, in a sense, new one, but it's somebody we've known for a very long time. And he's been doing these properties for a while, but he hasn't opened them up really to sell to the public. So this is kind of, when I talk about, this is why, like, if I've sent you the property packet or whatever, there's no fancy marketing, there's no anything. It looks like bare bones, it looks boring, it doesn't look very luring, but just know it's because this is such a new thing. We don't have fancy marketing right now, but the properties are killing it. Like, he is so motivated to perform. I've got some guys on the ground who can speak more to this, but we are doing we were talking about touring properties earlier, so the dates have changed. It was originally September 13th through 15th. Now it is September 27th through 29th. We are going to, this is in Baltimore. They also do Philadelphia. There's going to be a Philadelphia add-on, but it's primarily in Baltimore. We're going to tour the operations. We're going to get a group, so if you want to come, I can send you inventories to check out ahead of time. These are cash purchases up front. So you're looking anywhere from probably 80 to 130,000 would be required from you up front. But once all the work is done, then you get to cash out refi and pull all of that back out. So it's a temporary thing, but it is cash up front. So that's one of the limiting factors. But if you at all think you're interested in the BRRRRKey model, email me. I would assume my email's on the group, or message me on Facebook. My email is Ali, A-L-I, @hipsterinvestments.com. I can get you tons more information on the BRRRRkeys. I can get you information about our trip. We just negotiated with the hotel. We've got private, what do you call them? Not seaside. There's a rooftop, like sky bar, pool deck. We have private cabanas. It's going to be open bar. We get to meet the turnkey guys, or I should say the BRRRRKey guys. We get to tour properties, we get to meet each other. Huge, super fun, very exciting. So yes, BRRRRKey is absolutely a thing, but even no matter who you work with, if you do it outside of me, if you do whatever, you've got to know who you're working with, because it is your money on the line. And if you do all this stuff and they hop ship tomorrow, well, now you own this distressed property you have to figure out what to do with. So there's a risk there. So again, I don't emphasize that to scare anybody, but be diligent in who you work with on that model.